So just to kind of outline the foundation of the opportunity that Facebook has, I wanted to give you guys some statistics to give you a picture of really how prevalent Facebook is in the United States. If looking at this slide, you can see how many people actually visit Facebook on a daily basis. And in the blue, you can see that's on desktop and mobile combined. And in the green, those numbers are mobile only. So you can see how many people are actually using Facebook on a regular basis. Going into a little bit more detail, you can see that in terms of how long most users are accessing Facebook on a daily basis, you'll see that on desktop, people are spending at least 13 minutes a day, and that's an average. So you've got some people that may access it more, and that's more than things like Yahoo and Google, where they might be searching for an auto dealership. But Facebook is actually where they're having conversations with their friends and family and brands to find out, what car they should be shopping for. And this picture is even more exciting when you look at mobile. People are spending at least 30 minutes a day on mobile when they're of the time that they spend online, and that's 20% of that time. Think of the opportunity you have to be involved in that conversation with all of these people. So when we really dive deep into what this opportunity means for you guys as auto dealers, I've outlined just a few key points about what it really is that Facebook is for to your buyers, and it's really more than a social network. It's not just where people are having conversation, it's an opportunity to market to them. And people are beginning to really understand and expect to find information and details from their favorite brands within Facebook, so you're not interrupting their day-to-day engagement, you're joining it, and they welcome that. So together with all of the different tactics that we're going to share with you today, you have the opportunity to reach all of the people who matter to you. And that's not just people who are interested in BMW, those are people who are actually shopping for a new BMW, asking their friends what color to buy, asking their friends which dealership they went to. And so they're going to Facebook to find what matters to them most. And this is information, like I said, about where they should go and which brands and dealerships are offering what they're looking for. And yes, maybe they use Facebook to then go to that dealership's website, but they're finding that there first. And this is on a daily basis, whether they're on the go or at home searching for more information. So let's talk about some of those specific tactics. But before I do so, I want to give you a picture of what the Facebook landscape looks like and how it relates to you guys as auto dealers. If you consider the whole universe of people that you could target on Facebook, there is a specific pool that's actually within your dealership area and geographically likely to come in to visit for a test drive or for service. So these are the people that you want to focus on. Beyond that, you want to look for people who are actually interested in BMW. And maybe these are people who are shopping but don't really know that that's the brand they want, so you need to engage with them and let them know that you exist. Then there are people who already have a BMW and need to come in for service. So for them, it's giving them that extra incentive to pick your dealership over another one that might be located near them. And the great thing about Facebook is it gives you the opportunity to find and reach all of these different people. So kind of outlining the different customer segments that you as auto dealers might have and how you can reach them here on Facebook based on what you'd like to accomplish in speaking to them. I've put together this chart for you guys, and this is the flow of what we'll talk through. Starting in the purchase cycle, you've got the near market shoppers, the ones who are considering buying a new car, but they don't really know what brand they want. So what's important is building awareness, letting them know that you exist, and getting them to really consider BMW and your dealership. With that, maybe you want to grow your fan base and get page likes, then you want to share content with them and get them engaged, and eventually drive them to the website. So in targeting, you want to focus on your page fans, but you also want to extend beyond that to find people who are maybe not connected with your page yet, but they're in the market for a new vehicle. You can also take advantage of your customer database to connect with people on Facebook. From near market shoppers, you have the opportunity to convert them to in-market buyers, the ones who have already decided on a BMW, and they're, perusing more information. They're not just looking to know which dealerships offer what they want, but they want to find the actual make and model of the vehicle they're interested in. Well, you can target by that. And so these people you want to drive to your website, but you also want to entice them into your dealership. You want to get them these leads to sign up for test drives and eventually to make a purchase. So from here, of course, you can focus in on the in-market shoppers, the most relevant to you. You can also use your customer database and your website visitors to find them on Facebook. From there, once you've actually gotten a purchase, you don't want to forget about these people. And so Facebook is this great opportunity to continue that engagement, to continue speaking to them and having a conversation, and foster loyalty. And you can not only target people who bought from your dealership, so your current customers, but you can also find people who've moved to your area, who are make and model owners. So they have a BMW and maybe they need service. They don't know where to go. Bring them into your dealership and get them to advocate for your brand. So let's talk more specifically about each of these different targeting options. Starting with near and in-market auto buyers, Facebook has partnered with several trusted third parties that provide data of off-Facebook behavior. So that's anything from what they're searching for to things that they're shopping for. And you can use this to find people who are shopping for specific body styles, or maybe ones who already know the make and model of the car they want, as well as people who own these vehicles and how recently they purchased one to know, okay, this is a brand new car. Let's target them with certain types of specials versus the ones that have owned their car for 5 to 10 years. Maybe it's time to bring them back into your dealership for a new vehicle. So to give you guys an example of how this has worked for other brands, we've picked a few really interesting case studies. I'll start off with Hyundai Motor America. To make sure that their ad dollars were going towards the most relevant target, they focused on the Facebook targeting option for in-market buyers, and they wanted to drive interest among these people and find actual shoppers. In this example, they were able to result in a 55% lower cost per conversion than their goal, so they didn't have to spend as much to reach as many people as they wanted to, and they actually saw a 2.1 increase in vehicle sales, which is really exciting when you think about it compared to other channels that you could be advertising in. This is just from Facebook and driving conversation. So I know, Elaine, you had another example with BMW. Would you like to talk through that?
Yeah, thanks, Annie. One of our clients is BMW of Ontario, and we actually worked with them earlier this year. They wanted to promote a special sales event and drive qualified shoppers to the website to see their vehicle inventory. So we created a highly targeted in-market campaign for them with just a $500 budget. And the ads received 1,600 clicks and a cost per click of just 31 cents, which is, just really incredible when you're thinking of such a small budget, and shows the impact, too, of what a small budget can even get you with 1,600 people going to your website. And from that first month, we've continued running different monthly specials to in-market buyers to keep driving that traffic into the dealership and to their inventory page.
Awesome. I really like that example that you guys included, because it not only shows how focusing in on the most relevant people is able to get a great response, but at a lower cost. So going into our next target option, once you can focus in on the people who are most likely to buy, but you don't want to forget about your current customers. And so what we also offer here on Facebook is a way to use your customer database. So this is information that you've already spent the time and energy collecting. So we like to make it possible for you to use this to match with people on Facebook. The benefit of Facebook versus other channels is that you're finding real people, and it's matched based on an email address or a phone number. All of the information is kept private, so you don't have to worry about infringing on anybody's rights. This can also be done with visitors to your website, so you know they're interested, but you haven't necessarily gotten the chance to gather their information. So somebody who came to look at an inventory page but didn't register for a test drive, you can still find these people on Facebook and re-engage with them. So as an example of how this has worked for other brands, we've got Castle Auto Group. They used their customer database to find these people on Facebook. They knew that this was another channel that they could speak to them in, so they wanted to make sure that they were keeping the conversation going, and also offering exclusive incentives to help get these people back into their dealership, whether it was for service or they came in for a test drive and wanted to get them in to actually buy a new car. And they saw a 24 times return on their ad spend, which means that they really were able to get so much more bang for their buck in spending on Facebook versus, for example, direct mail, where they saw a 75% savings. Elaine, would you like to tell us a little bit more about what happened in the case with Hudson Toyota?
Yeah, thanks, Annie. So one of the things that Annie's talking about is we can, we're taking current customers using your current customer database and really trying to reach them, re-engage with them. Possibly they didn't come back to buy from you in the future, or maybe they didn't come in service with you, but at some point you've put them into your database, and this is a way to re-engage them. And that's what Hudson Toyota wanted to do. They wanted to create relevant target groups with their current customer database for 3 key seasonal sales events. So getting people that had been to the dealership previous, but they hadn't come back in a while, so wanted to re-engage with them, wanted to pull them back in. The campaign resulted in an increased response rate from their customer database by 50% during the campaign. So huge response rate increase by just reaching out and having these people see you within Facebook. It drove 4,500 clicks to the special inventory page designed for this audience and had an average cost per click of 68 cents. So again, this was just a short period of time. It was between 30 and 60 days where we were running this campaign and driving 4,500 clicks to that inventory page. So just driving a ton more people, and people that had been interested in you in the past. And just like with other avenues of marketing, this is where people are at and able to see you, so able to see some really high response rates from it.
That's great. Yeah, that's really the benefit of re-engaging with your current customers, is they're already interested, so they're more likely to respond positively to any information you have to share with them. And the great things about this targeting option is that you can also segment, whether it's by people like Elaine mentioned that gave you their information but haven't purchased yet, or maybe you want to focus on people who purchased 5 years ago and you've got a new model coming out that they might be interested in. So that's how we can use your customer database. The other opportunity you have with this information is to find new customers. Not only do you want to, grow your awareness and really that engagement with the people who are already interested, but you have the opportunity on Facebook to find other individuals who look like them. And by taking this customer database information that you have, or your website visitors, or even your page fans, you can find out what's common about those people, what shared characteristics they have beyond living in your dealership area. Say, for example, their age or their other interests beyond being interested in a BMW, for example. And we can take these characteristics and identify other people on Facebook that you might want to reach out to. And again, the benefit here is all honing in on really the most relevant shoppers so that your ad dollars are going to the most important people to you. So to exemplify how this has worked in the past, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about Unhaggle. They're a company that decided to use their customer database to identify other individuals who look like them. They took this audience and they targeted them with different ads to drive them in and to their website to learn more about the services that they have to offer. And these different characteristics that they identified helped really tailor their ads to the most relevant market. This resulted in a 200 times greater rate of conversion compared to other efforts. They weren't just throwing information out there at people who are shopping for a new vehicle. They focused in on people they knew had engaged with them in the past and took those learnings to find another audience. In this case, they also achieved a 60% lower cost per conversion. So they were really making the most of the money that they had. So now that we've talked to you guys about a wide range of different targeting opportunities that Facebook has to offer, I'd like to really go back and highlight a couple of the different reasons why you might be engaging on Facebook to reach these different types of audiences. Based on where each type of person is in the purchase funnel, whether they're a near or in-market shopper, they're a current customer, or they're someone who's ready to buy a new vehicle, there are different ways that Facebook can serve you and really incorporate with your overall marketing efforts. So the first thing is really gathering that fan base and giving people a reason to connect with you. This is building up your page, really sharing information, And once you've got this presence established within the Facebook network, you have the chance to be a part of those conversations that are happening around your brand. So you're taking near market shoppers and you're turning them into fans and eventual leads by keeping them up to date on what's going on at your dealership, sharing information about your events, special sales, new inventory. And that's when you're able to turn these people into true near market shoppers. They've decided on BMW, they've decided on your dealership. All of this can be done through both posting and advertising, and you're keeping them engaged. You're making sure that they don't fall off the radar and go to another dealership just because they haven't heard from you in a while. And beyond that, you obviously want to convert them into actual shoppers by enticing them to visit your website and your dealership. This doesn't always have to be a discount. It could just be new inventory that you have that other dealerships haven't gotten access to. And once you get them into the dealership, I'm confident that your service is going to keep them around. So it's really just using Facebook as a communication channel to highlight what you have to offer. From there, of course, like I've mentioned before, you don't want to forget current owners. These are the individuals that you, first of all, want to celebrate for purchasing a BMW, and Facebook is the perfect place to do that. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed how commonly somebody talks about, getting a new car, posting a picture of themselves in front of it, and if you can get them to mention that they came to your dealership, think about the wonderful free press, in a sense, that you're getting from that, and it's exposure to all of their friends and family, and those might be potential shoppers in the future. So it's a great way to make sure that you're putting the most positive foot forward and really keeping these people excited about the fact that they own a BMW. So the other opportunity you have with current owners is to bring them back into for service. And that way you keep engaged with them throughout their car ownership life cycle, because if they have an accident or an issue with their car, you want them to choose you over another body shop. And eventually you want them to also choose you when it's time to buy a new vehicle. So the purchase cycle really never stops. You want to keep it spinning round and round, and Facebook can be at the center of that with all of the different ways you communicate with your audience. So let's talk about how that really comes into play with some specific examples. With Quick Car Auto, they wanted to make sure that they kept current customers coming into their service center, so they offered some exclusive discounts via Facebook. There's a great way to use, for example, an ad with an offer in it, see how many people claim it, and then how many people actually redeem it. For different businesses like a dealership, it's great to know what the actual return on your ad spend is. So in this case, they saw a 7 times ROI, and that drove traffic not only online but offline to get people into their store. So it was more concrete than some other types of advertising. They also found that by getting people into their service centers, they were able to keep them as repeat visitors. Elaine, would you mind speaking to the Mercedes-Benz example?
Yeah, sure. So we have a Mercedes-Benz dealership. They wanted to increase the number of service appointments that they had using an offer to get them into the store. And the cool thing with this campaign that we did, we actually combined a couple of different advertising avenues that you've been talking about, Annie. We used custom audiences to target current customers in their database that hadn't gone and serviced their car, perhaps that they bought a car there but they never did go back and service it, or they've been a service customer that hasn't come back in a period of time and maybe had started going somewhere else. So we used that, and we also looked at in-market people that had purchased a car, a Mercedes-Benz in the past within a certain amount of years, and targeted the ad to them. So we knew that they had a Mercedes-Benz, but they weren't necessarily a customer of ours in the past. So we did, over the period of 60 days, we did these different types of targeting through the database and through the people that had purchased a Mercedes-Benz, and we could find that data through Facebook. And we drove over 670 appointments with the offer. And in addition to that, that was just for the appointments that were made with the offer that we had created for through Facebook. But they also got additional appointments for other service inquiries. So the customer wasn't necessarily interested in that service offer that we were advertising, but it triggered, oh yes, I do need to get my Mercedes-Benz serviced. I need to make an appointment for this. So they also drove additional service appointments and other inquiries during that time. And one of the really cool parts is that after the first 60 days, the general manager came to us and said, whatever you are doing, keep doing it. We are hitting record numbers. So we have been ever since, and just keep changing up the offer, keeping things fresh. With a lot of car dealerships, you can segment your database in a number of different ways. Whether it's for service or to get people in to buy cars, we can definitely tailor several different campaigns running at the same time depending on what you're looking for, and that's what we've done with this Mercedes-Benz store.
That's great. That's a wonderful example of how all of these different tactics can be used together. They don't necessarily stand alone. That's the beauty of Facebook, is how well you can integrate both your page with your advertising and how you target different segments of people based on why you want to reach them, and how you want to engage with them, what information you have to share. And so the beauty of Facebook really is that it has a solution for every need. And I'm confident that as an auto dealership, you guys have the opportunity to find all of these different potential customers, current owners, new time shoppers, and turn them into leads and actual buyers, get them to engage with you. And if you're interested in more information about how you can do this, I'll hand things over to Elaine, and she can help you guys understand how to implement.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to touch on is when you're thinking about your BMW dealership and how you want to get people into the door, maybe it's to get more service appointments or to get people to come in to buy cars. We can talk with you to find out exactly, what kind of scenario would be best for when we're targeting these people. Just like when TV first came out, people were sitting there watching TV or even now, to just relax and watch TV, not to go and watch commercials, but that is an advertising avenue for you. And that is exactly what Facebook has given us the opportunity to do. People are on this all day long. Even when they're watching TV or listening to the radio, they are still on Facebook watching or reading things, and we're able to get your dealership in front of those people when they're signing in all day long. There's a stat that 50% of people on Facebook sign in before they even get out of bed in the morning. So reach them first thing in the morning so they're thinking about you all day long. If you are interested in talking about the different opportunities, I know we covered very briefly different types of advertising that we can do. We're happy to talk with you. My name's Elaine. You can email us. We made it really simple. It's bmw@chiefingredient.com. We are one of the BMW certified social media vendors, and we do offer co-op packages through the program. So whether it's social media management or doing an ad budget, different things, we can definitely help with that, and we are part of the BMW program. And we're gonna start opening up for questions and answers now. But if you have any other questions or you want to dive in deeper to what we can do for your dealership, please email me at bmw@chiefingredient.com, and we can go more in depth. And for now, we'll jump into questions. All right. First question is from John, and he asks, how can you prove ads on Facebook work? Can I track them on my website? Annie, do you want to check that?
I would be glad to. So that's a really great question. I'm glad you guys bring that up first. That's one thing. We want to make sure that when you're spending money on Facebook, you know what that's going towards. So we do have a system in place to allow you to see every time someone converts, you can track those, and you can see them reported with your ad campaigns to know, I spent $500, I got this many conversions. And speaking of conversions, what does that mean? Well, it really depends on the target audience you're going after. For example, you might be looking for leads, so that would be one example of how you turned a browser into a shopper, and we consider that a conversion. You also have, for example, someone who requested a test drive. That's another type of conversion, or perhaps someone who claimed an offer came into the dealership. All of those are things we can track that to know if that's something that resulted from your advertising efforts on Facebook.
And with all of our clients, we send monthly reports to them showing the numbers that they received from the ads. We show them the clicks that the ad received, the number of people that actually saw the ad, cost per click, and then we also make recommendations for next month. What offer is coming out? We go ahead and look at that for you and put together a plan. Um, for it. One thing that I also wanted to add is that we have a special team that's designed just to focus on ad management within Facebook and really tweak the ads throughout the month so that you're getting the best cost per click and the best impressions possible, and to a targeted audience. We can say we want to reach people within 30 miles of the dealership, between this age range, with this marital status. So we can really dive in deep to what your demographic is for your area and what radius around the dealership you want to target. So we can show that to you as also in the reporting and when we design the ads for you. All right. Next question from Hannah. I only have about 500 fans and I don't want to spam them with ads. How can I avoid and still use Facebook to grow my business? Great question, Hannah. We actually hear this quite a bit. They want to grow their fan base, but they also don't want to continuously show ads to their current fan base. And one of the awesome things that Facebook has done is set up a way that we can target ads to specific groups of people. So we can actually say, we don't want this ad to show to current customers. We wanted to, our current fans, we wanted to show elsewhere within buying range of the dealership, with all the other targets that I just talked about with age, range, the demographics, that kind of thing. And this will help you, this will allow you to reach those potential customers in buying range of the dealership without affecting your current fan base. The one nice thing too is that you can still grow your fan base while these ads are running. So nothing is working against each other. It's all working together, just a little bit more independently with the different ads that we have set up for your dealership.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point you bring up too, is that you can focus in on certain messages. I mean, you always want to have a main objective when you launch a campaign on Facebook, but you can have more than one objective for separate campaigns and run them all at the same time and have them work together really well. You can also have an objective that's, sharing information about a sales event, and you may get some new page fans from that. So the great thing about targeting a wider audience than just the people who've already connected with you is that they still have the opportunity to connect with you afterwards, and kill two birds with one stone.
Thanks, Annie. And I just want to remind everybody, if you do have questions, feel free to put them into the chat question box on the webinar, and you can also tweet them to @ChiefIngredient. Feel free to ask any questions while we have Annie on the line too, and take advantage. All right. David asked, can I reach 100% of my customer database? Annie, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So that's a great question, and the simple answer is no. You may not reach 100% of your customer database. When you match this information with people on Facebook, there will always be, a handful of people that their information doesn't coordinate with what they use to create their Facebook profile, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are chances where, they use their business email address in one case and their personal email address in another. So that's pretty common to not see 100%. With that said, we do tend to see pretty high match rates in a lot of different industries. One of the case studies that I shared with you guys before, for Hyundai Motor America, they saw about a 60% match rate with their customer database. So that's a great, if you consider how many people they might have had in that database, those are people on Facebook that they are able to reach out to again. So that's still a very awesome opportunity to use that information they already had.
Mm-hmm. And one thing just from working with our clients and doing this when we do the customer matches, we usually see around a 60% match rate, and we can use either phone number or email address. So we're pulling from data that Facebook has. So if somebody's put their phone number in there, with cell phones as popular as they are now, people using that phone number as their main line of communication, we see a really high success rate with matches when we use phone number. Also email address. Sometimes people have a personal email address or work address, so there's not always 100% match there, but we typically do see around a 60% match.
To kind of complement your customer or targeting your customer database, the new feature that we also mentioned earlier was targeting website visitors. So these are people who may not have submitted your information, or maybe they're some of the people in the pool that don't match up with Facebook data from your customer database. You can still reach them through other outlets, and that's one of the great benefits of the wide range of targeting options that you can choose from.
All right, thanks, Annie. Let's see. Jill asked, what are the best types of offers you've launched for dealerships on Facebook? For sales, we actually get this question quite a bit as well. For sales, stuff with low APRs, APR specials, usually we see get a really good click rate, and then dollar off amounts for service, and typically with a closer buying range of the dealership. So that they're not traveling as far, we usually see a higher conversion rate. And then if you have an idea for what you would like to see at your dealership, for instance, 2014 models, you want to get out of the door to make room for 2015 models, we can design an ad from what we've seen works really well, design an ad that would work better for your dealership, and put that together for you depending on what you're looking for.
That's great. Those are wonderful examples. Some other types of things that you can do with an offer, whether it's, a certain percentage off service or some kind of special incentive for a test drive. Those are other things I've seen with kind of across the auto industry that don't really cost a lot of money to implement or to give to people, but it really does drive them into the dealership. So it's connecting Facebook with offline activity that's really meaningful to you to drive your business.
Perfect. Craig asked, can you tell me which of my customers I'm reaching on Facebook? Annie, you want to take that?
Sure. So when you use your customer database or you have page fans that like your page, we can't actually tell you who those people were because we do want to protect their privacy. Now, you can engage with them on your page and they do show up as real people, so you can trust that you're reaching true individuals who are interested in what you have to offer, but we can't necessarily pass back you reached, John and Sam and Adam from this list that you have. So that's just in terms of also protecting your privacy when you share your customer database with Facebook. That's all kept really behind the scenes, so you don't have to worry that you're infringing on anyone's rights to use that to your benefit. And again, to re-engage with them, the fact that they've submitted their information to you typically means that they're interested in what you have to offer, so you shouldn't have to worry about finding them on other outlets where you can continue the conversation.
And we got another question from Samantha that I kind of feel ties into this a little bit. How does Facebook compare to search or other channels? And I'll start out with this, and Annie, if you want to add on anything to what I'm saying. The great thing with Facebook is that people put so much information into their profiles that as an advertiser and as a business, we're able to take advantage of that. There are a ton of different ways that we can target these customers based on age, demographics, radius around the dealership like we've talked about, but also based on how they're searching online. If they're searching in Google or Yahoo or different places or whatever it might be, Facebook has partnered with data companies to be able to pull that information that these people are searching, and we're able to target an ad from them to them. So with a lot of other channels out there, you cannot put that kind of relevant target on them. So that's the awesome thing about Facebook is that you can put that information together for your benefit and show them an ad. You know that they're looking for a BMW. They can, and so that they'll be able to see that when they're scrolling through their home feed on Facebook. Um, another great thing is that with other channels that you're not able to pinpoint exactly who maybe bought a car in the last 5 to 7 years, but would be in the market to possibly get a newer car. So this person may have never bought a car from you before, but they do own a BMW, and so we're going to target them. They haven't bought a new car in the last 5 to 7 years, so we want them to come into the BMW dealership and purchase a new car. So another great avenue for us to be able to see who would be in the market to buy.
You highlight the really key point there, and it is targeting that helps Facebook stand apart from other channels. I mean, we definitely have the sheer volume of people active on Facebook, so the number of potential people you could reach is a really key factor, but how you reach them is what makes us unique. With things like search, you're waiting for someone to find you, to type in, BMW, a certain make or model, and so you're really having to depend on the fact that they're interested in what you have to offer or in your area searching for you. The thing with Facebook is you get the chance to find them based on information that they have already shared with the kind of the online network. Um, so you're able to hone in, like Elaine said, on different demographics, on their interests, and then using the third-party data for near and in-market shoppers, you're also able to find not just what they say about themselves, but what activity they've shown in terms of their interest in buying a new vehicle.
Great. One of the questions from Steve is, how much time would you dedicate in your daily work plan to be effective with this approach? And this is actually, I'm going to tie this in with another question from Danny. Can this be managed by someone at the dealership, or should you go through an agency? And the best thing that I can say is that you can spend your entire life doing this. There is a million different ways to look at the data, put together an ads campaign. The benefits of not doing it at the dealership and actually having an agency like ourselves do it is that we've been running hundreds of campaigns for a number of years now. So we've seen what works really well, and be able to give recommendations without having for you to start from scratch. A lot of the tools that Facebook offers are available for you to manage your ads campaign, but knowing how each one works, using the different types of targeting and methods can be very time consuming and really would be a lot of resources of time and dollars spent on your part. You also have the benefit that we have a direct support team from Facebook to help manage campaigns. Annie and I talk frequently, whether she likes it or not, in addition to some of the other team members that manage the ads. And also, I wanted to throw in here, too, that we are bilingual. So if you have maybe a Spanish market that you wanted to target, we're also able to reach out to them completely in Spanish and do an ad target to them.
I'm really glad that you bring up the Spanish market kind of as a side note, Elaine, because we are working on some new opportunities to find and engage with both bilinguals, people who are English dominant and people who are Spanish dominant. There's a huge opportunity for targeting from that standpoint too. So it's not just, the interest in people who are shopping for vehicles, but speaking their language, because on Facebook you do want to kind of, that conversation needs to happen um, in the boundaries of what's they're used to and how they're communicating with other people, and Facebook is a great way to do that.
Right. We have another question from Paul. Many dealers seem to still be buying likes. Can you explain the benefit of real likes versus inflating the number via a click farm? Annie, do you want to touch on this, and then I'll do it from our perspective of working with the clients?
Sure. So we've heard, there's definitely been a lot of buzz around things like click farms. And when you do run a page likes campaign, which is, for example, how you might buy likes, that's not necessarily an artificial way to find people. What you're doing is you are paying for new fans, But as long as you design your campaign to target it to people who are most likely to be interested in you, you're finding the ones who might have found you organically. So they might have found you in some other free outlet or free way, but you just put money behind it to make sure that you reach them, to make sure that were aware that you existed on Facebook. So they're still individuals that you are interested in connecting with, and they can be very beneficial. You don't need to spend all your money on growing a fan base because, as we've mentioned, there's so many other ways to target people on Facebook. Um, but it's still good to have that kind of foundation of people who support you and who you can converse with on your page. You can keep them engaged, and they're just one group of your customers or potential customers that you want to keep involved in conversation. And then your ads can go to them or they can go to other interested parties. It's just a matter of kind of segmenting all of the different people that you want to keep in contact with, and page fans are one of those groups. The other benefit of having page fans is that when you run an ad, Facebook will show how many people like your page to help kind of drive other people to like it as well. When you have a strong fan base, and that may be smaller for some dealerships because your total geographic area is smaller, and people understand that. It shows in the ad, and it helps people know that you're authentic and that other people have judged you as a great dealership, because a like really is kind of an endorsement. We also will show people if their friend is a fan of your dealership, and that helps make it more engaging to them. It's more relevant. If my best friend likes your dealership, you better believe I'm more likely to like it than if I don't know anyone. So that's really the benefit of having those fans, and knowing that they're there, that you can continually keep in touch with them.
Thanks, Annie. And from our perspective, a lot of times when we take on a new client, I shouldn't say a lot of times, there have been cases where when we start working with a new client, that they've done something similar to that where they've purchased likes, and it's definitely a different game when you start working with a dealership that has done that with their fan base, because they might have 5,000, 10,000 fans, but when you look at the activity on the page, you're only getting a like here or a comment there, so that really disvalues the money that you spent trying to get more likes when you're looking at the engagement and you're not really seeing anybody participating. And then really hitting home when you look at where the likes come from, and it's all over the world, and not there at around your dealership within a really good radius of it. So definitely advise to not go that route. If you wanted to put some money into Facebook doing these different types of advertising that we're talking about, having a fan base, like Annie was saying, does have a lot of value. We can also reach out to people that are not fans of your Facebook, currently fans of your Facebook, and still be able to grow that database, that fan base, while still advertising to them and getting them into the door. And then as an agency, and one of the things that we work with all of our clients, is really, how do I get customers onto my Facebook page? Because you do want them to find out about different events that you're having, charity sponsorships, things out in the community, outside of just selling cars. That way they constantly feel connected to you. Another stat that came out, and it's specifically to automotive dealerships, is that people are 70%. People are 70% more likely to buy from you once they've become a fan of you on Facebook. So, really, that kind of brings it home. Like, what does a like really mean? Well, if they're 70% more likely to come buy from you in the future than go buy from somebody else. So, still want to get likes, but make sure that they're genuine likes and not from a click farm. All right. One question from Samantha is, where does near and in-market data come from?
I'll take that one. So as I mentioned before, this information is from trusted third-party partners. Companies like Datalogix have access to information that buyers are, kind of the behaviors that they're exhibiting on and offline. And this is stuff that people have all opted in to share. So it's something that you can trust to be authentic, and Facebook has made a partnership with them to be able to use this information without abusing it. So we're not telling you guys as dealers who these people are, but we're telling you what they're like, so that you can trust that that's information worth applying to the targeting in your campaigns. And it gives you a better understanding of kind of how relevant those people could be to you beyond just their interests. So it's really behavioral data.
Wonderful. Let's see. Rico asks, we know Arizona has some strict regulations on contests, but how often should a dealership consider contests, especially in comparison to the efficiency of targeted ads? Is it worth frequent consideration?
Would you like me to speak to the kind of the
Oh,
contests on Facebook?
oh, sorry, Annie. Yes, I would go ahead, and then we work a lot with dealerships and doing. Actually, I'll go ahead and start, and then Annie, you can add what you want to it. We work with a
Great.
lot of dealerships running giveaways and doing different things around the idea of a contest, whether it's for a one winner a month or getting them in through a service coupon. And we can work with you on what you'd like to do. We have some dealerships that do kind of more of a monthly thing to get people into the dealership, get some excitement around their pages. And when we look at a comparison from a dealership that runs a more consistent giveaway to one that doesn't, for the most part, we see that dealership that is running some type of giveaway or something fun like that have more engagement. They have more likes because people engage with that. And what we work with our clients is when they come into the door to receive, maybe it's a free detail or something like that. We work with them on get a picture of them when they're at the dealership. Let's post it on the page, and people are always very excited. Past winners start to communicate on the page too. And every time somebody does that, it's going out to their friends and family too. So it's the new word of mouth. We no longer have to verbally say things. It's now online for everybody to read and goes out to hundreds of our friends constantly. So you know, it may not be a monthly thing that you want to do. We have some that do something more quarterly and still see really great engagement. The key would be to get things changed up. You don't want to constantly do the same thing all the time. People, you don't want to have them start to glaze over when you see those posts, but still want to engage, still want to participate, and keep that engagement up.
Those are some really great examples you shared, and I definitely see with a bunch of different, businesses and brands on Facebook that contests can be a great way to engage their audience. In terms of, how many you want to run or how often, I think Elaine really hit the nail on the head that you know, probably don't want to do more than monthly, but just kind of figuring out what cadence works best for your business and how to really use that as a way to keep people interested and to make it fun for them. And some of those contests are a great way to just get them into your dealership for the first time, especially when it's some kind of special offer. And that's something that you can partner with your other efforts. It doesn't necessarily have to be as opposed to ads. It can also, you can promote a contest through your ads to make sure that you're reaching that wider audience, or it can just be something you post on your page and kind of use that as your day-to-day content of a way to celebrate those fans that you currently have. It's definitely kind of a second type of thing from a Facebook offer. Facebook contests are also a lot of fun for your vertical.
Wonderful. Thanks, Annie. So we have time for just one last question. Joey asks, I joined multiple auto car enthusiast groups associated with BMWs and purist groups to announce special deals. Are there any specific tips to engage more clients? Annie, do you want to start out with this?
Sure. So I know we've talked a lot about targeting on Facebook, and the other key part of kind of the opportunity is that people are using Facebook to find more information about what they care about. So they're not just, you don't just have the opportunity to find these people, but you have the opportunity to share more information about them. So by keeping the types of things, by being members of these groups that you mentioned, Joey, those are great ways to find information that you might want to share with your fans to show them that you are in line with the kind of things that they're interested in. And so Facebook is just using interest targeting and keeping that content relevant to them is a great way to do that. Elaine,
Yeah,
do you have
we
anything
can.
you want to add?
Yeah, we can do also targeting on how people are talking on Facebook, maybe using hashtags or different language in their social post. So that's a great way to also be able to target people that might be talking about your brand. outside of that is, you want to keep things interesting on your pages. So mixing it up with maybe stuff that you find from the car enthusiast groups and sites, but also stuff about the dealership, because you don't want it to just be about stuff that's not at the dealership. You want a reason for people to think about you and what's going on at your dealership. We've seen great responses from posting different sponsorship or charity events that you're participating in, teaming up with those social pages. So if you're doing something with the local YMCA, finding out what their social Twitter handle, Facebook pages, that kind of thing, and exchanging content with them. And then you're also reaching out to their customers and their fan base. So it's a great way to kind of cohesively get things back and forth. So not just reaching out and doing things from outside of the specific stuff at the dealership through the different car groups, but also stuff that's really going on at the dealership so people feel connected to you. All right. Well, thank you everyone that participated and asked all the questions. Sorry if we were not able to get to yours, but we will reach out to you, make sure that your questions do get answered. If anybody has additional questions that maybe you didn't put in the chat box, please email us at bmw@chiefingredient.com.